The next person whom I invite to speak is SSLA's very own Chetna Anand. Uh, Chetna, you have been associated with this immersive digital experience, right? And there is Gargi Kand. Would you want to kindly talk about it? And how do you think these virtual platform is used to stimulate the experience of being in a play? Ashutosh already raised few questions. Do you think you can answer it in some way because you have kind of done you are doing it? And do you think that is the space maximized when it goes digital? And is there a disconnect between the audience or between what you want to say? I'll leave it to you.
Uh, okay. First of all, I want to thank SSLA Presents for having me here. I am immensely grateful that you remember me as someone who loves theater, and my understanding of theater became deeper on a theoretical, more sociological level in college. So this is like a nice full circle. Um, I don't quite know how to begin answering your questions, but I will introduce Gargi Kant. I will introduce immersive theater for those of you who are not familiar with it briefly. So, I'm sure most of us know what proscenium theater is, which proposes that the performer's world and the audience's world are separate. Um, Immersive theater, as an antithesis to that, focuses on it focuses on bringing the audience members into the performance itself. And this can happen through sensory experience. This can happen through introducing points where audience members can react to you and things like that. Uh, this means that the piece itself is quite dependent on how the audience reacts to it, and they are embedded into the narrative. And because of all of this, immersive theater focuses on intimacy, a point that Kruti touched upon earlier. Um, and the having a physical space is very important. Now, with the pandemic and the fact that we moved to a digital mode of theater, really raises um, these questions and sort of challenges the fundamental assumptions of immersive theater itself. Um, and this is the sort of questions we had to deal with while preparing, while scripting, while rehearsing, while even understanding how to use Zoom as a platform for performing theater. Um, Gargikand is a murder mystery play. I'm not going to go too much into the story, but I do want to point out that it is not a murder mystery play that you just watch. Audience members are introduced to the narrative as investigators. So it is sort of a combination of a theater play, of a live performance, of escape rooms and murder mystery dinner parties, if any of you are familiar with those. So it has that gamification element to it inherently. Um, so uh, it was originally conceived as an offline piece, where people would travel to specific locations. They would move around within a larger space and talk to suspects and witnesses and things like that, make their assumptions, and then proceed to solve the case. Now, once we know that Zoom is something we have to work with, there are two aspects we need to deal with. We need to understand Zoom as a perform as we need to understand Zoom as performers, how we can use Zoom as performers, but we also need to understand Zoom as a site of performance itself. immersive theater focuses, um, not only builds on how audience members are reacting to it, but it also builds on the location itself. So that is something we need to think about. And the peculiarity with Zoom is that it needs to be a stage and a backstage all at once, right? So as we are performing, we need to navigate technicalities. So for example, if an actor has to share the screen or play an audio, those are things we have to handle simultaneously. And we, in a regular performance, we either do acting or we either do production, but we don't do both. So um, that is something we need to deal with. Um, okay, so I'll talk about understanding Zoom as a performer first. Um, our, so a lot of us as live performers have never been in front of a camera. That is something that was new to a lot of us. So our entire body language changes, right? There is, the screen mandates a disconnect between the audience member and us. We don't know how they're reacting to us, and we can't react to it accordingly. But at the same time, it's not entirely a disconnect either, because it is a live performance. It's not like they're watching a film. So there is this it took us a while to understand this, but we ended up with a sort of a live cinematography sort of a situation where the focus was more on facial expression and voice modulation as opposed to just entire body language. So it um, and things like that. Um, as for understanding Zoom as a performance site itself, I told you I pointed out that a lot of us also had difficulties understanding the technicalities of Zoom. You had asked about simulating the experience of a murder mystery play on Zoom. Um, we the thing about Gargikand is to make it a more realistic setting to truly bring in the experience of a police investigation. Uh, this has become a multimedia play. So, in addition to the live performance in Zoom, we use WhatsApp for communication. We use audio files. We use video clips. We use documents that people can read. We use timers to increase tension of time and things like that. So, um, and that's something we've had to do because those are the simple ways we can build intimacy now, if with the screens between us. Um, I hope that answers your questions at least a bit.
Right, right, Chetna. It does. It does. One thing that I'm curious about: why murder mystery? Did you think that murder mystery as a genre would be more approachable, or because one could really be a part of it? Because, as you say, audience is the investigator, and how it works. Why suddenly this genre? And are you thinking of, or are y'all thinking of bringing in any other kind of genre into performing an intimate digital theater?
We are thinking about it. I'm not sure what I actually joined the production a bit late, but I think the idea is to so one of the reasons is we began performing in October, oddly enough. So boredom was cited as as a means, so to help people, so to give people that option to be immersed, to do something even if they're on Zoom.
Mhm.
I guess was an idea.
Mhm.
It's it's difficult answering this question because it's a very niche genre to
Mhm.
pick up with,
Mhm.
and we're seeing that.
Mhm. Right. Okay. But how have the responses been?
The responses have been quite interesting. It's um So since we've begun performing, the lockdown has also opened up. So it's been a we've had a variety of responses to it's great. We have something to do over the weekend now. To
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on Zoom all the time. I can't do this anymore. I need to be offline in the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's and so because all of this is happening, it's really difficult to gauge what the future of um, digital theater itself is, because people do want to get out. There is a yearning to go back to intimate forms of theater.